I entered the booking office and lingered behind the curved end of the bar while I scouted the room. Vincent sat alone in a cluster of upholstered chairs, watching a candle burning in a glass lantern. He was the only person I've ever known who could kill 1 hour, 4 hours, murder a whole day or more with nothing but his imagination. If you were stuck someplace boring, a dentist's office or a desert island, waiting for something you wanted and willing the crippled hands of a clock to move faster, that man had the ability to generate a separate world of distraction and make time disappear. That's how our musical collaboration began, when I got a flat on our way to see Tracy Chapman at the Gorge Amphitheater and found my newest used car was sold to me without a spare tire. Vincent looked up and down the empty highway. He stepped to the center line and walked away from the car until his rippling image floated above the blacktop on a silver band of heat. He strolled back to me at the speed of a dream and sat by my side on the bug-crusted bumper. We kissed. We kissed again, and I asked Vincent, "We're in love, right?" And he said, "Can you hear it?" He brushed the hair out of my face and pointed up the road. "It's coming," he whispered. "It's on the wind, one warm wheat field away." I sang those words back to Vincent. He held my hand, hummed along, and we dreamed up another stanza. When the tow truck arrived, we'd written 2 verses and the bridge of Daisy Breaker with our fingertips on the doors and rear window of my dusty Corolla. When we worked very well. Crisp corners, cups on coasters, dotted I's, new car smell. The magic we made took many forms, and that day showed me it could happen anywhere, anytime we were together. A busboy passing behind Vincent dropped a metal charger plate the size of a Spartan shield. It struck the floor on edge with a bang, and he bolted from his chair, barked his shins on the low table in front of him, and upset the candle. A dozen lively conversations halted. Every head in the booking office bar turned at once to look at Vincent. I smashed one hand against my mouth as the glass lantern rolled a noisy mile over the tabletop and clattered to the floor, leaving a crescent trail of clear wax that clouded and went white as it cooled. The skin between Vincent's collar and jawline snapped taut, and he clapped a hand over the back of his neck, wild eyes searching for a safe place in a room full of sharp stairs. He slowly returned to his seat, fused his hands in his lap, and bowed his head. Fireworks on New Year's and the 4th of July always made Vincent flinchy and irritable, prone to drink far more than is typical too much, but now he looked worse than I'd ever seen, well past shaken and drifting into shock. I felt a little small when I realized I'd yet to consider how the bombing might have begun to pick at the stitches of his patchy mental health. Tongues thawed and stirred small talk that warmed the icy room. When the level of conversation returned to a steady simmer, Vincent replaced the candle and lantern, then patted his pockets for matches. I rooted through my purse to find my lighter. I smiled, imagining the look I'd see on Vincent's face when I came to the rescue, leaned over the table to light his candle, and tossed my hair back like some dumb cover girl to show off my new eye. A willow-thin blonde in a backless dress with a choker neckline entered my narrow field of view. She sat beside Vincent, pecked his cheeks, and took a silver Zippo from her pocketbook. It clicked like a pistol, and I backed slowly out of the bar as Peachy tipped the candle's wick into the blue heart of a thumb-sized flame. Unanswered calls and texts from Vincent heated my phone as I took the long way home. I arrived at the flat acutely aware that almost an entire day had passed without any form of narcotic intervention. I staged a series of heavy hitters on the kitchen table and phoned Sultan Beirut with my takeout order. Watched the clock and strategically timed that dose to ensure I'd be straight enough to reach the first floor, pay for my meal, and return to the flat before the effect of opiates turned loose on an empty stomach left me bulldozed and immobile. As I scaled the stairs, a swimmy sensation scoured the insides of my skull, rising like fine bubbles in a fizzy drink. The treads I ascended stood 2 inches taller than they did on my way down, and I clipped my toes and stumbled, nearly dumping my dinner before I reached the top. The sight of Vincent lurking in the dim hall outside my door should have scared the life out of me, but I was thoroughly insulated, incapable of reaction beyond common courtesy. I invited him in.